Hi, Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations. Welcome back for block 2 of Boo to You Mystery Quilt. And based on the picture, it looks like it's going to be pumpkins. So let's get started making this. Here's the fabric. And if you watched my last one, you know that all the fabric is pre-cut out, so it's all marked. That's why I have little pieces of paper and the little clips on it. Alright, let's start this again now that we're rethreaded. All these seams are 1/4 of an inch. And I always like to make one complete block first and then go from there. This way if I'm off, I'll know it. Well, there's not going to be much of anything on this little black stem for that pumpkin. Uh-oh, I think I just came, I did. Alright, came unthreaded again. Let's see. I guess I'm going to need to hold my thread. If I can get a hold of it. Alrighty, let's try this again. There we go. Take a look at it. And that's what it looks like. And so before I continue, I'm going to go ahead and iron this. And it's going to be ironed to the inside because that's the dark. Next thing to do is assemble a pumpkin. And this is a snowball. And you put your little white square up in the corner. And then you sew from this corner to that corner. Let's see if I can do that without marking it. Let's see here. I should be able to do that. Hopefully I don't lose my thread. Here we go. There we go. Right down to the end. Just take my time, and there we go. Alrighty. Let's take a look at that. I don't know if I need to move it over to do it. No, I think I want to come over just a little bit off of that line. I think. But let's just double check. Take this out. Well, I guess it's a good thing I looked at it because I had my star on. I had my little square on upside down. Well, the reason I'm thinking about coming over just a little bit is that when I flip this, it'll actually cover that corner. Otherwise, if you do it exactly down the center, it'll be off a hair. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I'm just going a little bit to the right-hand side, closer to the non-fabric over here. Just a little bit. Let's see if that works better. I'll tell you here in a second. Okay, so now when you flip it up, see, it puts more over the corner, which is what I wanted. Alright, let's do that. Okay, make sure this is down like this. We're going to do this one together here. Okay. And then we'll try it out, and we'll try it with our stem on this as soon as I get it done to see if that's going to work or not. We're going to find out here in a second. Let's see, did I lose my thread? Ugh, almost lost my thread. Okay. Alrighty. Now here is where you would be putting your stem. Let's see if that's going to fit. That's the question. So your stem goes like this, and then it will go up like that. Alrighty. But first, you need to cut these off. I'm just going to use my scissors. So just cut like that. Like that. And then you can iron or finger press. I'll finger press that. put my little stem strip on there like this, and let me pin it where the intersection is at, which will hold my intersection down. Let's see, I'm going to go to the pumpkin side. So let's put this up here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's see if I can get it in there. And I may have to iron this, but let me do this first, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's go up with it like that. So in order to put the bulk of the fabric, I'm going to put it towards the pumpkin, then it won't show up on the white. So that's what I did there. And then the black, of course, is going in towards the black fabric there. So if you find that this is easier to iron it instead of just doing that, that's fine. But this way, I'll sew this, and I've just pinned it to keep it on that corner there. I mean, on the, turn it the correct direction. It has a tendency to flip up when you're using, when the part that you're trying to, excuse me, keep a certain direction doesn't get pinned down, then your feet down there will pull it up on you. And that's how it gets messed up at the bottom. So pinning it will help that. All right, so let's go up here to the pin. And try not to go over your pins. You don't want to break a needle. Let's see if I can. Okay. There we go. And these are pretty well pushed in there. We go. Let's see. Let's take a look at it. I should have had my fabric a little bit further over, but that's all right. So there's the top portion, and you know, when we're all finished, we'll end up squaring all these up anyway. So there's the top portion, and then I'm going to finish the bottom by putting 2 more of the little squares on there. Show it to you here. It'll look like that, which is a little pumpkin. Show you this after I ironed it. Due to the bulkiness of the seam right here, I went ahead and I opened my seam for this here, which is okay because the white is going to be against this and the black is actually covered underneath that. Otherwise, it's too much bulk to be putting all this together if you're going to do any kind of quilting or however you're going to finish it off. So I just wanted to show that to you real quick before I got started on my chain stitching. Okay, I've got them all lined up here, you can see. So I'm ready to be chain stitching them. Just take my time. And I'm going to get it set up with all these other ones. And remember, we're pressing it to the black, which is the dark side, like this. And I'm just going to finger press them all, and then I'll be back. Alright, so I put a pin on every single one so I could hold them while I'm lining them up here. Otherwise it was going to be too difficult. So just get them all going. Let's see. Okay, and I'll just pull the pin out to go. Side you already got done, popping up across there. That wouldn't be very good. Alright. all done, and all you got to do is snip them all, iron them, and set them aside, and then we'll work on the pumpkins by putting the 4 little corners on to make snowballs, so they turn into pumpkins instead of rectangles. And I'll see if I can chain stitch them. Hold on one second. So I'm giving it a try. I'm not quite sure if it's going to work or not. It's very slow going. So on my machine here, let me get my stylus. I have a line that's coming right out here, which is where the needle goes. And so I'm lining up my fabric, and I can't get this too close because then it pulls on it. So I've got to keep it quite a distance. See, right now it is butting up against my foot, which is making it, watch. See how that does that? Okay, so I don't want that. Oh darn, I tell you what. Okay, there we go. So what I have to do is I gotta go so far, and then I gotta stop, but I gotta be able to make sure that I can see this line. I mean, the line is only on the little cover of my bobbin. So let me see. So it might help a little bit if I had my stylus here. Let me see if I can. I don't know. It's already pulled off on my. That's why I said this is very slow moving for me. It pulled my fabric off when it got up there. And since this is such a delicate little corner here, let's see if I can get it. All right. I don't know if that's going to work or not. There we go. And then I'm watching right here where the line is also on my, and that's all I'm doing is I'm not really watching the fabric. I'm watching this line and the tip of this. I don't know if I can, I'm not left-handed, but let's see if I can do it that way so that my hand's not in the way. Let's see. So all I did was watch this line coming out here as my fabric is fed. Let me try one. I'm out of orange, so let me go into the black fabric here. There's my first one. Hopefully you've got this mark on your machine. If you do not, you can always take a piece of tape, and when I say tape, I don't mean like regular tape. I mean masking tape, or actually, if you had a, well, now you know this is just a teeny weeny one, but if you got the full-size Post-it, you can lay your full-size Post-it right down. All you got to do is measure it from your needle. Just lift your foot, take your paper, put it up against there. Now take the very first piece of paper, don't have a sticky paper, just have regular paper, put it up against there. Lay it straight down, then take your Post-it, let me get another piece here. You would take your sticky Post-it and put it right there on top of your paper, and then the Post-it would be sticky down here. You don't need it any longer than this. I mean, my line only is the length of this little thing here, but that'll help you when it's time for you to do this. That's if you don't want to mark it. I mean, if you want to mark it, that's fine. You can mark this little white fabric that's going on here. And if you don't have a stylus like I have here, you can use a toothpick, you can use a pencil, you can use your seam ripper. I mean, anything that's going to have a little point on it, you can use. And like I said, so all I'm doing is watching the line down here. When I line this up, if I quit picking this stylus up, I wouldn't be picking my fabric. And then, as it's fed through, oops, let's get it started here. So as it's fed through here, then you're watching this line here. So see, my fabric shifted on me here. So here's, oh, it shifted so much it came off the, I gotta take it out. Hold on one second. Okay, let's see if I can get that out. I'm gonna have to take that off. It's gonna be a little bit more trickier than I thought. All right. Let's take those off. Maybe explaining it's giving me a problem. Anyway, now I just stick it underneath the foot. The first one you're just putting underneath your foot anyway. And then I can watch down here as this goes through. And I'm just keeping it on that line right there. All the way off. I don't know if this is going to help you or not. I mean, you just might want to do each one individually. It's going to be up to you. But whatever you do, it's going to be slow going for these right here. Although it is slow going, I've got to admit that it's easier than the first block. At least to me it is. The hardest part is trying to find out my right side from my wrong side on these little white on whites. Alright, let's see. Let's try this again. Alrighty. Build the corner. I guess I could use, to keep these on if you wanted, on the right hand corner over here, I guess you could use a little piece of glue stick if you want. I don't know if that's involving more, if that's more trouble than it's worth. I have no idea. Alright, so now I've got it started, so now I want to put this up underneath here so that it goes. I feel like it's okay. Wrong line. Huh. That's my 1/4 inch line on my machine. Got a line for everything. Now let's see if that worked. Okay. Let's do another one. And then I'm going to stop the filming and go ahead and do them, and you can do yours. That's if you're following along. Okay. There we go. I hope my hands aren't in the way of everything here. Alrighty. And when I get all these 4 corners on, I'll be back. I want to come back and tell you that I swapped out my stylus for this wooden stylus that I've had for a long time, because it's not pulling up on my fabric, so I don't lose my fabric. It just stays put. This is a stylus as well as it's one of those wooden fingers, which I have these over here that I bought. I have this one here. It's got 2 different, this is a wider one and then a smaller one. This is how far I've gotten. I've got all 4 corners on. Now I'm going to go iron them all, fold them all back, then I'm going to pin all these stem strips onto these snowballs to make the pumpkin, and then I'm going to go ahead and chain stitch all of these, and then I'll be done with them, short of ironing them. Be right back. Alright, after the very first 2, putting the stem strip. So after that I went back to old school. Old school meaning I folded my fabric in half, got a little crease right there, folded this stem strip, folded it in half, which isn't too hard because you know it's going to fold those 2 little pieces where the stem is at. And then I put it right smack dab in the middle, pinned the middle one. Oh, get my pins over here. I have one on the other side. And then from there, went out to the left and grabbed it where the seam is at for the snowball corner there. Went to that first, and I pinned it down that seam to hold that down. They've all been ironed down, so that's not a problem. Then I went to the next one, and the next one's at an angle, and I grabbed it also and pinned it. So that's why there are 3 pins on there, and so it lines up perfectly. If there's a little extra fabric to the left or a little bit to the right, that's fine because I can square it up, but at least I know that it is actually centered in the middle of the fabric. Now I'm going to chain stitch it. Let's just make sure my corner stays on there right. Okay. I'll pin the cushion over here. Hopefully it won't fall. next one. And then just continue until they're all done. And then I'll show you all of them. All right, there they are all done. Turned out really, really nice. Just need to do a little trimming on a couple of them. Well, that's the end of the second month of the Boo to You mystery quilt. The pumpkins, and so I will start on the next video, which is the third month. Actually, I shouldn't say month, they're actually weeks because they're each a week apart. I don't know where I got the word month from. That was the second week, and I'm going to have the third week for the next video. So take care, everybody. Thanks again for watching. If you like my video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.